What's going on there, everyone, and welcome back to another video from the Demon Overlord. And as you can see here, we have the green Dracolich from the Boneyard's Premium Miniatures. This one, they gave you two options. You had the green Dracolich and the blue. Now, I already have reviewed the green Dracolich in an earlier video. If you guys want to check that out first, if you want to make sure you're not coming into this too late to know what the awesomeness about this miniature and every good thing I had to say about it. But now we're going to take a break from him. We're going to go with his even bigger brother. Or at least bigger in the design. The blue Dracolich. This big boy actually could not fit inside my shooting tent for a good, lovely up close. So we're going to do the best we can. And take a look at him. Now, as you can see by his box here, he is very big. This guy happens to be very, very, very well sprawled out versus the green Dracolich. Now, the green Dracolich, in my opinion, has what I like to call the sort of like creeping vibe, where it has that vibe where you don't know whether it's going to attack you or whether it's going to befriend you, converse with you, or whatever. But this one has obviously way easier to define, like intentions. You're not really dealing with something you're not sure of its final goal or what it's going to do. This guy's coming out, he's blasting the lightning, he's got the aggressive face, he's definitely coming for blood. And being undead, maybe he's looking for more to add. Now, here we go. Sorry about that. Probably should have put those down carefully. And there he is, the big, bad blue Dracolich. Now, this blue Dracolich follows more to the monster manual itself when you look up a Dracolich. Now, in truth, Dracoliches do come in multiple colors. They are not just blue. It's just blue is one of the most common. As you can see here, we have a lovely lightning effect coming out of the blue's mouth, which, unexpected and unsurprising. We also do have the lovely horn on the middle of his head. We have the rotted features, the lovely tattered, graying wings, and the ripping hole, and the holes being torn through them, the sinews and stuff being exposed. Now, I will say this: he does have this sort of swish flight stand I do like, but they went with an interesting direction. They made it hollow. I feel if that breaks, I'm gonna have to fill that base. So hopefully with something that's very translucent. I might have to resin fill that base to make it so you don't see it, because like, can't fill it full of green stuff and make a giant pillar for him to sit on, because it's just ugly that way. But really cool. Now, he is technically full floating. The tail is not attached down here. It is separate. It just wraps around that base. Now, I do love his details. Like I said, this guy is very aggressive. And if we do compare him to the size of his green Dracolich brother here, just for size comparison, you can see they are both quite big beasties. Now, in my opinion, they could easily be gargantuan too huge. You could use them for either or. This one, though, I think the body on him is actually a little bit smaller than the green now that I'm looking at it. He's not as thick in the body as the green dragon. So this one really does scream more of an adult dragon, blue Dracolich, while the other one's more of the gargantuan or ancient. Like I said, they are really useful for both. They both do come with the ring on the bottom of their stand for either usage, in my opinion. You don't have to use them as an adult. Even though it says adult blue Dracolich, I think you could use this as an ancient if you really had to. I mean, after all, guys, they don't really have ancient blue Dracoliches out there, and the ancient white one, in my opinion, is a little bit shrimpy. Even next to these two guys, and these are supposed to be adults, so it's really weird the white... And I know white dragons are considered the lowest of the dragons because they're also the most unintelligent and the most savage, but I mean, getting back to topic, oh wow, where was I going? I rolled that lightning bolt way far away from where I was aiming. Now, this guy is really cool in the fact that you do get to see the great blue details in his scales disappearing. Like, you get to see the slow graying. It's not as prevalent as I wish it was. And the lightning effect is cool. I mean, it is quite solid. It's not really going anywhere unless you pull on it hard. The teeth look good. The legs being probably the flimsiest parts, but they're legs. His wings, on the other hand, are really stiff. They are not removable. They are a solid single piece. Nothing is removable. So something is not attached on yours. Something might have happened in transit, or something might have happened at the store shelf, and maybe someone just dropped it back on there. But yeah, this is a really great miniature. It's really hard for me to think if there's anything I don't like about it. I mean, when I compare him to the green, I honestly gotta say, I still like the green more. As I think I said in my old video with the green dragon, I like him more. I wish the green had some spell effect going on, or some type of elemental energy pouring out of him in the neck, through his chest, through his back a little, through the throat and the mouth. even like and having those eyes. I think that was a missed opportunity there with WizKids. They definitely should have given the eye, like Wizards of the Coast and WizKids should have designed a glowing eye effect in there. Doesn't even need to be fully translucent. Even like just a blue orb, or in this case, a green orb for the green one. I think it really would have popped the more fact these are liches, not just undeads. However, that would make them good to be zombie dragons, which I don't think we have a stat block for a zombie dragon. And what I think that we are missing. Wizards of the Coast, if you're listening to this video, I definitely recommend trying to make a zombie dragon update. Just throw it in a random book. I mean, we kind of need one. We don't even have the skeletal dragon anymore. Those were back, I think that was back in 4th edition was the last entry for that. So we definitely could use some more. I think nowadays, they say, like, if you're doing a zombie dragon, to take a dragon stat, add undead, remove the fact of, like, you know, that he doesn't need to breathe, doesn't need to eat, and doesn't, like, you know, it can survive in water or air. But I think this guy still is good. Is he as good as the green Dracolich? I think the green Dracolich, in my opinion, has some more character going on. Because he's not the boring, flying up, dragon, breathing elemental attack pose. And I'm not trying to say that's not good. Don't get me wrong. I love my dragons. Dragons are still some of my favorite creatures of D&D. Heck, when I played my first campaign, I made a special homebrewed dragon humanoid, or draconian humanoid. And I took a dragonborn and used that stat block, which, as you can guess, based on how dragonborns are, before the change, it was okay. I had to add flavor stuff later, because otherwise I was bored. It's kind of a shame. But I think those needed that. So he does have the spell effect. Kudos to you, WizKids, for giving a spell effect. I think he could have been just as menacing, though, without it, or just the start of a lightning effect in the mouth would have been a little bit cooler, a little bit more ominous. I would like that, like whether he's going to blast you, blast around you, just doing it for intimidation. I mean, rolling like a little electrical surges coming out of the mouth, a little ball inside his mouth, like electrical ball. And like I said, they need the eyes. But once again, this is like a 5-star miniature, just like it's Green Dracolich. Brother, these are knocking out of the park. This just shows how WizKids keeps improving and improving upon their designing styles. This thing is bringing forth amazingly great painting details, like from a painter such as myself. This has great details going on. Like, I love how I can get deep, close looks at these bones, and I can see some lovely work going on there. The talons themselves have even little bits of, like, scratches and bumps and nicks, and those look purposefully so that basically they look like old worn talons and claws and wings and all that, which is good. But I found it interesting on the back, they made all the spikes bone spikes instead of making them like normal spikes. And obviously, when a blue dragon dies, whether they have a yellow, youthful belly scales or whatever, they get that pale blue-gray as a sign of old age, or that they no longer are young and virile anymore. Now, I know, like, there's been different versions of blue dragons. Sometimes the books show them with yellow-scaled stomachs and white claws. Some show them with black claws and blue-scaled stomach, or like a gray-blue stomach. Whatever, guys. You can always do what you want when you're painting it. And, of course, there are variations in the species. And, I mean, compared to their Pathfinder brethren blue dragons, these guys have just such a uniqueness to them that even when this guy, being an undead lich, still brings it through. And I love that. They also did really well on the horn and the head. Because usually what people don't know... Now, there's actually one thing I did notice. Technically, a blue dragon has 2 horns on his head. Usually the second horn sprouts off from the main horn. However, with a closer look, I'm going to say it looks like maybe that part of the horn was chopped off. After all, like most parts of a dragon, horn spikes can be just as useful to create dragon-slaying weapons. I mean, nothing's more interesting when you're at a bar and you pull out the dragon-slaying sword, the dragon-slaying hammer, or a dragon bone hammer, dragon hammer made from blue dragon, or whatever you want to say it, because it's your story to impress the group. Or, sorry, not the group, but to impress the bar folk, to get some love from the town. We're like, oh man, what an amazing guy. But yeah, this is one really sharp, well-executed miniature. So WizKids, if you're watching, Wizards of the Coast, if you're watching, you hit this one out of the park. It looks great. It's going to look good on any shelf, especially next to its green Dracolich brother, which I did a video on that. Like I said, check it out, guys. It's one of my older videos. And really, this thing just happens to hit it. Now, this thing was too big to go in my shooting box, so unfortunately I couldn't get a nice close-up for you guys. Sorry about that. But I will be getting a bigger shooting box at some point, so hopefully I can do that for these figures like this. They're just so big. These wings are just impressive. I mean, I've seen a lot of Dragon figure minis too, and I want to bring that up, that have like really flimsy wings. These feel pretty strong. Look at that. That's a lot. I have to actually press harder than I'd expect on a miniature to make those wings even press that much. So they're really thick. I mean, when you look at through the broken hole parts, they are some thick membranes on those wings. The bones themselves are very thick. This, quality miniature, guys. Quality miniature. And other companies should take notice of WizKids Dragon styles and try to copy them. Not they really could, because WizKids just blows out of the park, man. Now, I mean, obviously, some companies like Reaper Bones, them do make very nice and lovely dragons. I painted some in the past. They look amazing. But this is just, oh, Boneyard. I remember when I first saw Boneyard, I was like, oh, man, Dracoliches, how good could they look? Saw their pictures and went, okay, you got my attention. WizKids and Wizards of the Coast, you caught my attention. You've got my curiosity piqued. So at some point, I'm going to get both of those Dracoliches. Am I worried? I mean, I figured they'd be very available. WizKids is doing a very good job of producing enough of these that Wizards of the Coast can produce these can get these pumped out to a lot of places, so they're easily available. Eventually, of course, yeah, they do stop making them, and then all happens, but got mine before that happened. Now, anything really wrong I can think of this miniature, other than missing the eye glow, or like a sphere in the eye or something to give it an iris? No, I can't think of anything wrong with it. I mean, I wish they had like a partial fragment of an ear, maybe, because it is so skull-like on this, and I don't see adventures. Okay, wait, hold on. Okay, scratch that. I was gonna say I don't see adventures cutting off ears, but now that I think about it, yeah, cutting off dragon horn would be like cutting off Minotaur horn. It's gonna take a lot of effort, and even more effort, and a lot of work. So cutting their claws or that would be hard. Maybe cutting off a limb would be easier. Of course, dragging a limb is a lot of weight. Maybe it might be easier to drag the ear frill of the blue dragon, so they have those big frilly sort of ears, which would probably work. Honestly, I like to say Baragon ears because they kind of look like Baragon from from the old Godzillas. Anyway, so that's all I got for you today, guys. If you have not, make sure you like and strike that like button. So that way YouTube will share it to more people. They can check out this awesome miniature and maybe decide, oh yeah, I like what he's saying. Good points. I'm going to buy one before it becomes hard to get one. And maybe I'll get his brother, because why not have the lovely dual set of these two terrifying beasties? And if you have not already yet, guys, please do subscribe to the channel. I always recommend doing so. It's going to help out the channel more than you know, and plus, that way you can also set that bell to all notifications so you're not missing out on any of the lovely content I happen to throw out there for you to enjoy. And if you got any questions, concerns, ideas, whatever you want to throw in the comments down below, go for it. And even have a question for me. Like, Demon Overlord, we've heard you're part of a podcast. What's the name of the podcast? I like to throw them down in the description, because it is my group's podcast. Got to promote ourselves. You can find us on like all the other podcast sites. And before I get too, sort of commercially, where it sounds like I'm promoting a bunch of stuff. So, WizKids, Wizards of the Coast, you did well once again. Anyway, guys, have a great one. I will see you next time, and bye-bye.